Hi, everybody. It's your friends Deborah and
Norma.
Hi. And we're two ordinary ladies who've come together to see how we can support the really important people in this world. We're all important, but those who care for others, but may need support themselves. And we're on a mission to try and make sure that we discuss those topics that are on everybody's lips, thinking, if only I had some help with X, Y, and Z. And I don't know about you, Norma, but often when you get into a position of management, it's not that sometimes you've designed it. You're either good at caring or you're good at what you do. And then all of a sudden somebody puts you in a slot or somebody's left and you get put in that position and you haven't really been given all the tools to take care of yourself as well as take care of other people. And if you are in that caring profession or as a person, you are a caregiver by nature, sometimes it's quite difficult to draw the line and you end up not being fit for purpose because it's just all too much and it gets overwhelming. So that's the kind of thing that we wanted to put onto this podcast, is to help people. We're not like slick professional presenters yet. We might get better as we go on. But we've got a really good message to share. We're really kind, loving people ourselves, and we just want to give out to people to think, oh, well, actually, two normal ladies getting through life, maybe there's some things that resonate, and we'd just love to discuss them with you. So I don't know if I've covered that okay. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fabulous, Deborah. Yeah, it's like you say, it's being the person, isn't it? And having that first and keeping it involved in everything we do, because we can tend to let the person that we are, the human being that we are, get stuck and not cared for and not nurtured. And then when we get these things, especially unexpected, like you say, with staff, you could have a sudden amount of staff leave or you know, an outbreak or something in a home. For care homes, I'm speaking, like it's and then you've got to be resilient for it. You've got to be able to care for them. But when you give all the time, we come wrung out, don't we? We just come to the stage that, oh, like, I can't even get my feet out of bed this morning. I've been there, I just, oh, I've got to go. I can't even stand up sometimes. And you're closing the office door and sitting there thinking, now what, and it's just making sure there's tools, techniques, anything there, or somebody there you can call just to lift you back up again and fill them gaps in yourself where you're drained, just completely drained. It's not, we can't give until if we're not full first. The first person we should give to every day is ourselves. And that's difficult when you're on call, you're jumping up, you're going off to do your job. And it is, it's a person-centered role, isn't it? We've got people at the center of everything they're doing. And, if they're empty, they can't do it. You just can't do it. And it's so hard, isn't it?
I know, and I'm from the corporate background, and I also think that this is very valuable for people who have teams, because we all care for the people in our teams, no matter what we actually are doing as a job. It might not be necessarily, care home managers, but also teachers,
Oh, yeah.
nurses, anybody in business that has a team. Well, you know what, a family, because sometimes we give and give and give, and at the end of the day, as you say, we've got to be fully charged to be able to give as much as we can to people. So it's really, I think our audience is going to be for anybody that thinks that they're caring for others. Now, I cared for an elderly mother for over 10 years, and I was working in London at the time, high pressure job, and sometimes I wouldn't get a night's sleep because I was giving care to my elderly mother, and she'd have a bad night and various things would happen. And I think that if you can kind of get together on this and form some kind of a community that people would feel valuable, we'll pop this up on our own business pages, etc. You could probably see the details behind me. But yeah, and anybody's thoughts and comments, we link in with us, however you like, perhaps Norma on Facebook or what have you, so that maybe people can come together and think, yeah, I'm not on my own. People do understand, and we can be a support group for each other. So,
Yeah.
and again, topics that need to be discussed, let us know, because there's not much we can't talk about when we get going, is there?
Oh no, not at all. We can go forever.
Uh,
Yeah. But and it's one size doesn't fit all, Deborah, does it? We meet people where they are and bring them from where they are, and nurture them and care for them. Because people are at different places, aren't they, all the time? So it
yes,
is whatever, like you say, part of a team and heading a team. Because if we benefit the managers and the team leaders, that will filter into the teams, won't it? In any category of work sort of thing. Um, so it is getting something that, what is it that's really needed and meeting that halfway and filling them gaps. If you do it generically for a lot of people, then there's bespoke stuff as well that people might need a bit more of something. Whether it's meditation, breathing, whatever it can be. It can be literally anything, couldn't it? Just even more exercise or a bit more fresh air to
yeah.
even, what are you eating to nourish yourself? And there's just so much stuff. It's the tip of an iceberg, isn't it? When we say, we've got these things we do, and then when you start digging away at it, there's just so much there to become that whole person, to be
Yeah.
a whole person, and putting boundaries into. We're not giving of ourselves all the time so much because, you know, that's another thing. If we don't set some healthy boundaries, then we can just pour in and pour in, and I just keep
Oh,
seeing a little cloth wrung out, like
oh,
wrung out.
I tell you what, and you know what? I'll be open because I am with everybody, because that's the authentic me. I'm an abuse and trauma survivor from
Mm,
childhood, and I talk about that and how to handle anxiety, etc. But my thing was people pleasing. I couldn't
yeah,
set boundaries. I was just trying to be nice to everybody, and in the end, I did have a breakdown about 2.5, 3 years ago now. Time marches on, doesn't it? But
mm,
what I would say is by that breakdown, I was able to build back up again in a way that
yeah,
is much more fulfilling. Now, I couldn't paper over the cracks anymore, to be honest.
yeah,
And that's one of the things that I personally would love to be able to give out on this podcast is if there's anybody that's feeling like I can't paper over the cracks anymore, something like you
mm,
can kind of feel it, something's going to give. Um, we're all here to
yeah,
support each other, and nobody's on their own. It might feel really lonely and that, but if anybody comes across this podcast and thinks, you know what, my friend is suffering or what have you, please do pass the
yeah,
link across to them, because I think if any of us can just help one person out there who's suffering,
mm,
um, then we've done our jobs, as it were, in that
yeah,
way. And that's my thing, is that I talk about these things very openly. I'm a business lady, so some people say, "Oh no, you shouldn't be talking about mental health, and you shouldn't be talking
yeah,
about things that are a little bit. People will think that you're no good or what have you." Well, I kind of turn that on its head and think, well, actually, that makes me a much stronger person because I have
mm,
gone through this, and nobody's living an ideal life in that sense. There's always something, isn't there, that is could be at the
yeah.
background and niggling. So yeah,
I mean, it's fantastic. Well, it's it's life, isn't it? And it's a fantastic example of being able to come back from a breakdown, from that very low position. I mean, personally, I was a very unwanted child, told daily I wasn't wanted, I was no good, I'd never do anything. And when people see that you can build it back up, you can build it back up authentically, you can put back in the pieces. Like my spirituality was always denied by my parents. You didn't see this, you didn't hear that, you didn't feel that. And I thought I did, and it was no, shut up, sit down, shut up. No, I won't sit down, shut up anymore. I don't need to anymore. There's no one to tell me to, and it's silly, isn't it, really, sometimes you look back and you don't know any different at the time. But when you get to that point that if we can get somebody before they hit the floor, get to somebody and support them, that's great. If it's gone too far, then people do need that help. Then it's like you say, if you're authentic, people see ourselves as business people and doing what we do. Oh, it's okay. They're up, they're sorting this out. Very strong, resilient people. I wasn't born this way. This was my journey. You know what I mean? With all, like, domestic violence, homelessness, unwanted, like I say, just myself, put myself down, everything. There's a life behind this person sat here. There's a life behind you. all that experience and everything that is tailored now to what we're doing, and it's brought us to being the person that we are. And everything on my journey, I would, if I could go back and they said cross something off if you don't want it there, I wouldn't actually cross anything off, because
Yeah.
every single one of them blocks, good and bad, put me where I am today with attitudes, beliefs, authenticness, everything that I am and who I am and what I stand for is because of them things. And when I was in them, I couldn't see it. If somebody had said, "Don't worry, love, when you're 62, you'll be doing this," I'd have gone, "No, I'll probably be dead by then." But here I am. I'm not 62 till November. I'll just pop that in there. But just in case. Yeah. So, but you don't see that in the future. You just don't see, because we don't see like that, do we? But
No.
the belief that things can be okay, getting them things put in place, and even now, every now and again I'll think, "Oh, well, what we're doing, should I do this? Am I good enough for that?" And that doesn't leave you. It's stuck somewhere, and it doesn't leave you. But you can acknowledge it and go, "Hang on a minute, there's that thought again. There's that voice telling me you're not good enough." Well, actually, yeah, I am, because I stand for what I stand for because of what happened to me. My beliefs have been tested, absolutely tested over and over, and I still stand and say, I will care, and I will care about people, other humans on this planet. If you are stuck and you want support, pick up the phone, come to us, say something. Do not be on your own. Do not be stuck. Whether it's, if you're worried about relationships, finance, anything, your sexuality, your beliefs, you want to tell people that really, you're a spiritualist and you do this and that, and everyone's pushing you back. Stand up. If you want to say it to somebody, come and say it to us first. Come and try it. Come and do it. Come and do whatever you want to do. Even if you want to be a singer and it's been, "No, you're not going to do that." Come and sing to us. Come
Yeah.
on. Just come and
No,
sing to us. And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I
yeah.
totally agree. And you've been on your spiritual journey, and let's face it, it's not all about spirituality, but
Mm,
do you know what? One of the things that was a defining moment for me was um, the fact that something just kind of came into place where I just knew that there was more than just me.
mm,
And once I'd known that, I couldn't unknow it, if you see what I mean. And
yeah.
then I didn't force anything, but I've got more and more and more into that whole sort of oneness. And you know what? This might sound a bit weird, but even if there's nothing in it, the happiness that I feel now,
Yeah.
the joy, the love, the almost like being a kid again in a nice way, because my childhood wasn't that fantastic, but in the nicest way, little Deborah. Um, well, I tell you what, if even if it is all nonsense, I'm the feeling the happiest and most fulfilled that I ever done in my life. So
That's
actually, well, you know what? If that's the worst it could be, that's fine. I don't mind. I've certainly not got all the answers. But one of the things that we were talking about, and I think quite a lot of people get overwhelmed by trying to do everything. Now you've got, I'm not going to say it because you've got this great phrase, haven't you, about doing and that. So what's your phrase, Norma?
Well, I think we're human beings, not human doings. So we should be human, not do human. Because this
Yeah.
is what happens, isn't it? We start doing all the time, and oh, and we just need to be. We need to stop and come back to ourselves and acknowledge ourselves and be us, be the real us. Yeah, and then we can give more because we grow more. And it's the energy is better, isn't it? Looking at your energies and everything, just to be able to, you know, manifest in your life what you want, if that's what you believe in and stuff. It's just being your true self, and to not be is well, it's a disservice to yourself, but also to humanity, isn't it? Because we're all connected.
Yeah.
So this will fall on somebody's ears that go, "Hang on, man, I'm going to take these ladies up on this, and I'm going to give them a ring," and it might just come from nowhere. You just meet people when you're meant to meet them, being out you should be, and it grows from there, which is great, isn't it?
Well,
So.
do you know what, Nomi? I think you really hit the nail on the head for me, because I had that breakdown because I wasn't being, well, I didn't
Mm,
even know who I was. And the counsellor that I went to, literally, I was having a moment. I didn't know if I'd be around next week at that stage. And I just went
mm,
on the computer and looked at counsellors near me. And this lady's name came up, and it was in alphabetical order. There was a publication it took me to, and I looked through, and because her name began with A, that was it. I rang her. I thought I'd be booking in, but she didn't actually ever meet me. And she said to me, "What do you want to get out of this?" And I said, "I want to know who I am, because I don't know anymore. But so many I
Yeah.
have more faces than a Rubik's cube. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's so tiring
Yeah.
not
We
to
can't wear,
know.
you can't, yeah, you
Yeah,
just can't wear that many hats all the time though, can you? You know, it's like myself, you know, you're a business person, you're a care manager, you're a mum, you're a sister, you're a friend, you're this, you're that. And at the end of the day, you get squashed by all these things. It's like layers. I mean, I've got my lovely Russian dolls here that show us, you know,
yeah,
you just end up, all these things, and you just don't see yourself anymore. And to come from that, to start at you outwards, is far better than trying to deal with all them while you fade away, isn't it?
yeah. And
So,
this is really good point, actually, because we came up for a name of this podcast, didn't we? Of sphere of being.
yeah.
Now, from the point of view for me, for the sphere is I built my business after the breakdown, and I've got a team of people who are just wonderful, not on a pyramid structure, which often is, whichever way it goes, is often the method. I built it on a sphere,
Mm,
a ball shaped structure, and where we're all equal. Every voice matters, every
mm,
opinion counts, every person is an
definitely.
individual who we love, irrespective of whatever. We just genuinely love each other. And to have a business where people go, "Oh, I love you," is a bit like, "Woo, good grief!" But we come from that sphere of love, and we show that to our clients as well. And we're not like, us some kind of weirdo movement or anything, but what we are is we're heart-centered in our approach. And this is
Yeah.
again with carers, we're heart-centered approach to the business and to our customers and what we're trying to achieve for them. And it's a very different model, because actually we're all servant leaders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We all lead, but we all serve each other, and we're only as strong as the weakest link. And so it's up to everybody to contribute the whole time, so that
Mm,
we can be better and better and better. Well, then I got thinking in my mind's eye, well, that's like a sphere, that structure, and it's
mm,
now grown into something which is a very strong sphere, and it can roll easily. It's really flexible, it's mobile, but encompassing that is the heart, because
yeah.
without having that love for each other and that love of what we do, it's going to go back to like, well, how can I be better than somebody to get what I want, or what
Mm,
have you? It's a completely different way. It's more like, what can I do to help? And that's the servant bit, as opposed to what can I do for me?
yeah.
And it's a magical, wonderful environment to work in. And then with your being side of it, that was, being you, being that authentic
Yeah.
version. And first of all, we've got to like find who that person, who that is. I'd lost my way. I didn't even know who I was. I'm getting there. I think that would be a life journey to finding out who I am. But it's coming at things without it being so labor intensive and such a burden
Yeah.
on
When you
things.
get into a flow of something and you're aligned with your true self, you find yourself and become aligned with your true self, then burdens drop by the wayside. You know, being stuck, wondering
Mm,
how we find a way through, we meet the right connections at the right time, and it puts us more at ease with everything, and more joy and love comes, and it starts growing even bigger because um, it's fueling itself from the right places, and things that are negative or destructive will fall away from you because you're displaying this different energy as a being. You know what I mean? It's like um, you're coming from a place of love, so negativity doesn't want to be near you, really. So, you know, it's better to come from a soul source side of business or management or person, being a person. And, you know, sometimes people say, I'm just this. And I think, please don't say just. Say, I am this. And start from that, dropping the word just. Starting from that will own what you are straight away. When you say, I am, the powerful words, you know, and you can be anything you want, really, can't you? Which is very exciting. But to start, you know, if you're feeling a bit broken today and you're hearing this, just don't say I'm just this. You know, say I am, And then that small change will put ripples in your life for a bigger change. And then, contact people, get in touch with people and get the help you need and support, and start finding that soul again, that soul center again, and come back from it, because it's still there. That's the good news. No matter what stage you're at, it's still there. It's not gone. It might be like a little flame, just as embers, and it just needs a bit of life breathed into it to get them flames going again. So, just give it, get some air and get outside and breathe something into yourself. Get your fire going again. Do what you
Yeah.
love, whatever it is.
Oh, and you know what? That is a really good thing. Do what you love,
Mm,
because I hadn't really had, like, when you were a kid, because the counselor said to me, when in your happy moments as a child, what did you love to do? And I was very lucky. I grew up in the countryside and I had ponies and horses, and I loved my animals. It helped me get out of the house, and they offered me solitude, and they loved me. I love my animals and they love me back. And I loved riding, and I like to help people, to teach them how to ride as well. And that's that whole teaching thing. And so it's doing what you love, isn't it? And they're having the
mm.
kid again, and enjoying the simple things and laughing at little
Yeah,
things. I find I
definitely.
laugh a lot more now,
Yeah,
whereas before I was all buttoned up and keeping it all together. And now it's just like, hey, I am what
yeah,
I am, and that's cool. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. Just be yourself, and that pressure will drift away, won't it? I when I was a child, I used to. Well, I don't know if this is the right podcast for this. I'll tell you anyway. When I when I was 4, I remember my mum. In them days they didn't have all this talking to you. You just get a good hiding. They get slapped. And she bought me a doll I wanted for Christmas. And when she got opened the doll, and straight away I poked its eye in, and then put a bandage on it. And she'd come home and she smacked me so hard, and I was like, oh. And I said, why have you done that? And to me, I had a doll's hospital. Every doll or teddy bear I had a plaster on. I had teddy bears with shaved heads where they had head injuries. I had ones that pull the leg off, and it was, what I mean, just because I didn't know I didn't know what it was then, but obviously I was a nurse, I was a carer, and I'm a caregiver, and I wanted to look after people and look after things, and
Mm.
it was very strange, really. Way to When I look back, I think it's a bit odd, really, the state of my dolls. And I wish I had a photo of them sometimes to make a lovely post, wouldn't it, to say
It
these are my
would.
dolls, yeah. But
Yeah.
then you grow from that, and I fought to keep that care inside of me right through my life, because, as I said, when you're getting told you're not wanted, it's easier then to go, well, actually, it might be wrong, and then I might go and not do this path, but I've stuck to it all the time. And to give and to love and to care, to support, that's my gift, really. What I was given, my sole purpose on earth is to do that. And it's been challenged quite a lot to make sure that I really want to do it, and that it is definitely my cause. It's what I come here with to do, is to look after people. And now I think it's needed more than ever, especially after the pandemic and everything. It's not that long ago, really. And I
No.
think we're trying to function as though it never happened, and
Mm.
it's just getting dismissed all the time. But people really do need that, connection again, and the love, and, like say, laughter, hugs, whatever it is. And going back to your childhood, what you love. I mean, I'm not going to go around ripping dolls' heads off, I promise.
Well, not in
But
public anyway.
yeah, not in public, yeah. But what the ways of showing you care. But I used to I used to sing and dance and jump around and have a laugh. And people say, "Oh, you should be on the stage. You should know this." And then when I listen to the words now, I think, now I do go on the stage. I'm public speaking. I go on the stage, and it's things that life's telling you all the way through, isn't it? The soul things it's telling
Yeah.
you and pointing out to you. Be that person. Stick to that. Don't ever give up your true self for anyone or anything. I mean, there's some relationships and narcissists and stuff like that. It's very difficult to get through, but there is a way through. There is a way through. And we can't go around these things. We do have to go through them. So get the support you need to go through them, and do it. But come to yourself first. And that will absolutely be the driving force to repair, to build, to get your life back. And believe, because 2 examples with us two in our lives, that it's possible. It is possible to still do, to still give, to still love and care, to build a business, and to say, I am doing that, and it is great. Yeah, and I earn this amount, and I do this and that, but this is who I am.
Mm.
And if it wasn't this, that wouldn't be happening. It can't happen the other way around. We have to be and then do, not
Mm.
do and then be.
You know, I absolutely agree with you. And the other thing that I learned after the breakdown is I used to be in victim mode all the time.
Mm,
Why does this happen to me? I must have generational curses, or I really thought at one point I was cursed.
mm,
And what I realized, which could seem really obvious to loads of people, but just wasn't obvious to me, is what do those things in life that happen, what are they trying to teach me? What
mm,
lesson can I learn from it? And also, what emotion can I replace, listen to the emotion that's coming up and give it, you don't identify with it, observe it and go, oh,
mm,
hang on, yeah, this is coming up. Why is that? Why is that
mm,
coming up? Why am I feeling? There's a little bit of self-work, and I do meditation now because it helps me just clarify. Before I couldn't go near meditation because I didn't want to entertain the thoughts that came into my head. It was all very nasty. But now I keep on asking, okay, so why am I feeling like this? What
mm.
what is it that I could replace this with? And I've managed to help myself by helping to replace those feelings with love.
Yeah,
Trying to
I love that
think,
point. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of like if I can keep my heart open and get that love feeling coming out when I would have been a bit stressed or anxious or feeling angry or just I'm no good enough or what have you, because I when I put that love in that in its place and I get to that feeling, those feelings, those bad negative feelings, they can't exist.
That's
It's
it. Yeah,
impossible. I've realized
yeah,
it's absolutely impossible. Now, one of the things is you think, well, how do I do that when I'm really, really stressed? Because I can't get love out. But if I'm working on things that like trigger that love feeling, and as soon
mm,
as I say I surrender, and I go in my head and I go, right, I've surrendered. All of a sudden, I feel free. I don't know what it is with that word I surrender, but it's just like I'm not fighting it.
mm,
I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm free, and then I put that love in my heart, and then all of a sudden I'm all right. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting little technique.
yeah. It's good to have like a toolbox of things, isn't it, that you can use at times of stress, at times when you're really, stuck. I was only seeing this one this weekend, and it was to come back into your heart center. And when you don't know how to, I thought, well, how could I tell somebody easily to come back into the heart center? But if I said your big toe on your right foot, a second ago you wasn't thinking about your big toe on your right foot, but now I've said it, you think, oh yeah, there's my toe. So you put attention to it. So when we come to a
Yeah.
heart center, if you put your hands next to your heart like this, or just on your heart like that, because you touch there, your attention then goes there. And then breathe in for 5 slowly and out for 5 slowly, 4 to 5 times, and it will bring you back to the place of love. It's just a very small, simple, quick example of bringing you back to you. And you can do that anywhere, can't you? You know what I mean? You could just sit in the car and do it, whatever. You're stressed at
Well,
work,
I
in the
did that the
corner.
other day. Somebody pulled out at me at short notice. I mean, I got that adrenaline rush, when you feel a bit sick.
Mm, yeah.
And what you've just said there, the breathing, and I've
Mm,
been learning about this breathing thing and to be conscious of your breathing. It's kind of like they all say about that's mindfulness, isn't it? To be conscious of
mm,
your breathing and how you're breathing. So I just switched it and I breathed because I'd realized I wasn't breathing. And
yeah.
one of the things that I have been learning is that if you can have a couple of seconds even when you're outward breath, when you exhale, is just imagine all the negativity coming out with
Mm,
it, but do it a few seconds longer than what you did when you
yeah.
breathed in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it almost instantly switched my mind
Mm,
from what had just happened in the anxiety and the adrenaline to actually feeling okay and
yeah.
present
When we
and
do
at
that,
rest.
it dumbs down the cortisol in your body that's being released and the adrenaline. It dumbs down them stress hormones, doesn't it? Because we stopped it. And you,
Mm,
it's more of a control in your brain as well, isn't it? Of using using your feelings, your heart to rule your head. Not, and I know some people say don't do that, but where, you know, it's using your feelings to run your body and not your body to run your feelings, just by doing something simple like that. It's worth it. Just, you know, people might think, oh, rubbish, rubbish, but just try it before you knock it. You know, just give it a go.
Well,
It's
do you know
worth
when
doing, isn't it?
absolutely, when I was embarking on all this, and I was a bit of a sponge because I've realized I got it wrong before. And if I kept
Mm,
on doing the stuff that kept on getting the wrong result, I wouldn't get any new results. So
yeah,
I had an open mind. First time ever, I had an open mind. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm coming up for 60 in October. So we're all, you know, all that magical era. Um, but I thought, well, what have I got to lose? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I've lost nothing. But weirdly enough, it did work. It really does. It did work because I was open, more receptive to the idea of trying something new just to see. So I used to think, well, you know, it's not going to damage me, and well, it can't damage me any more than I've already damaged myself for years.
yeah,
So what could this do for me? And it's literally transformed my life. But the interesting thing is, it's transforming it constantly. But this is happening really quickly. But I know that it's stable because there's one thing about a quick fix and then you go back to
yeah,
where you were
definitely,
and it can
yeah,
be worse sometimes. But when you're deploying this and I mean, I try and do this every day now, is becoming aware of myself and thinking about the person that I would love to encapsulate in the future, but bringing it like, what would I need to do today to be that
mm,
person now to make that happen, if that makes any sense? And it's just like, once I've started to do that, we met and miraculous things have happened.
yeah,
People have come into my life that have been amazing. The people that were there that I, to be honest with you, didn't provide me with the positivity and the joy and the love, etc., in my life, they're not here anymore.
yeah,
And I was
they
not
do, yeah,
nasty to them. They just ebbed away because I think it's the energy and my
the shift,
mindset
yeah,
had changed and they didn't
yeah,
identify with that. We haven't fallen out,
yeah,
but they're distant now. They're not the people that I have around me. So all I would say is when we start to change, everything starts to change around us. And that's the good thing
yeah,
because we can make all those positive things start to happen. It
mm,
doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it does, but often it takes a bit.
yeah,
But it's like not giving up and saying, "Oh, this doesn't work.
yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere." It's just letting things
Being
take the
persistent,
course.
isn't it? Yeah, being consistent with things. I always think when I try something new, I'll win or I'll learn. I'm not going to lose. I'll be wrong. I shall win or learn.
Win
Let's
or
see which one
learn.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
win
it's a
and
positive.
learn.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's win-win, isn't it? Then we're not winning either way. Yeah, but it's and change does take time, especially when external things or people, other people see you changing, and it's a case of wow, you know, she's changing, so I might have to change. I don't want to change, so I'll resist it. And then that's where we get pushbacks. And then sometimes that can be a reason for someone to say, you know, I'm not going to do it. It's too hard. But persist with it because this is your life, this is your soul, this is your purpose. You know, they're on their journey and you're on yours. And you have your journey, enjoy your journey. You know,
enjoy the journey. Enjoy the
yeah,
journey. That's
what
so
it's for.
true. And life's going to give you those knocks because it doesn't stop.
Mm.
In fact,
Oh
sometimes, as
no,
you say, you get little challenges to see is this really where you want to
that's
be?
it. Yeah, yeah.
But it's seen through. Now I'm just conscious of our time. As
I
you can
know
tell,
it's gone,
I'm
hasn't it?
not particularly technical, so I don't want us to sort of like
Cut off in the middle of a sentence.
yeah. But
Okay.
Norma, how can people get hold of you if because I've got my background up so people can
Ah,
have
right, yeah,
that
okay.
way.
Well, they can reach me through LinkedIn, so message me through LinkedIn or at the website, which is info@nscare.co.uk, if they want to. Or my number's on LinkedIn, just ring me. Just
Yeah,
ring me. Or
yeah,
Facebook, or anywhere, or in the street. Just say
yeah.
hello. I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
all I want, but yeah, just wherever you can get me, get me. WhatsApp, anything. Yeah,
brilliant.
I'll help
And
if I
then
can.
likewise, I'm the Essentially Limited. We've got the nickname You're Mary Poppins of the Office. I'm Deborah Blackman. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. You've got my details there, my mobile 07776 136 330. Just, you're not on your own. We're here.
Yeah.
We'll put out regular little podcasts like this. And if you think of anything that, you'd like to talk about, let us know, etc. And we don't preach, do we? We just.
No, there's room for all of us. Isn't there? Room for all of
Absolutely.
us. Yeah, come and
Oh,
join.
lovely. Well, thanks
Yeah,
everybody for listening. We'll be back again. And yeah, Norma, it's been great. I've thoroughly
well, good
enjoyed
to see you again.
it.
See you on the next one.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
everybody.
take
Well,
care,
take
Deborah.
care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, love.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye.